about Kappa Sig over the last 2 years and what Wade started after Greek Summit, and then Robbie Ann, what you're thinking about for this coming fall.
For sure. Okay. So yeah, 2 years ago, Kappa Sig came to Greek Summit. His name is Wade, and he had this vision for our house that we would share the gospel with every pledge in 4 years. That everybody that goes through pledgeship will at least heard the gospel. And so last year, my sophomore year, he began to try to implement what he learned at Greek Summit, and really, it was kind of just setting the mold and really just kind of trying to start a culture in our house. And so it hasn't been amazing, but it's definitely a starting point. And so this past year, it's been even better. We had 23 guys get initiated in the spring, and out of those 23 guys, we were able to share the gospel with 17 of them. And so that's really awesome. And now we have 3 freshmen that are on, or soon-to-be sophomores that are here on project, being equipped and learning how to share the gospel. The system that we kind of used in our house was pretty much we had a Word document, and we had all the pledges' names, and we were able to kind of just like go through like, okay, like did I share my testimony? Did I share the gospel with them? And kind of like, okay, like kind of a summary of what we talked about. And with those summaries, we're able to be like, okay, like I'm going to follow up with this guy. Like, okay, this guy's like really, really curious about the gospel. We should follow up with him. Or like this guy doesn't want to hear about it, so we're not going to put too much effort and time into him, I guess. I know that sounds really weird, but we're trying to be as just efficient as possible. And so we would meet up as brothers and kind of just divvy up the pledges. It's like, okay, there's 9 of us and there's 23 pledges, so we'll divide it up accordingly. And so that just made things a lot easier, and then we would be able to follow up with them. That's pretty much what we did, and then we would keep each other accountable. We'd have like a Facebook group, or not a Facebook group, but like a Facebook message group, and we were able to kind of like keep each other accountable and meet up with each other and be like, okay, like how's this person doing? What should I say with my follow-up? And using those, I guess black books you guys call them, where pledges meet up with brothers and kind of have to take down information and get their signature. And we'd really use that. We'd be like, okay, so you met up with Mark. What did you guys talk about? And really use that as a segue to get into really like saturating them with the gospel. And that's kind of what we did at Kappa Sig.
Okay, so being in a sorority, hearing about like pledge talks and all of that was just like kind of hard because we don't have that system set in for us as girls. And so this past year, coming out of Greek Summit, I came here last year with 2 of girls in my pledge class, and we've just really been praying about what it looks like to reach an entire pledge class of girls. And so this past year, we've just tried to be really intentional with the people that the Lord has put in front of us. And so that has been good, but I know that the Lord is calling us to do bigger things next year in AD Pi. And so what we're going to do is there's 3 of us in my pledge class that are going to block off specific times in our schedule. And so like I know for me, Tuesdays, my class doesn't start till 3. And so from 10 to 12 or whatever, I'm available to freshmen. And so we're going to go into one of their new member talks and kind of give them that schedule, and then they'll just put their name down on like an hour where they want to go on a walk with one of us. And so our intention of that is that, just like Scott had said in his talk, that at least this is how it is for girls, it might not be for guys, but we come in, even though we have just accepted a bid, we still feel like we need to make these girls like us. Like I want all these older girls to like me. We feel like we're trying to like win this approval of our chapter, when we want these girls to know that like they were chosen to be here and that God has picked them for this chapter, and whether they're walking with the Lord or not, that we love them and that we want them to know that we're available to them. And so we are going to try the whole Google Doc thing this next semester. So just putting all the girls, so that way I'm able to see on that Sydney talk to Katie, and so I can see kind of how that conversation went, and then I can step in and have another conversation with her, which is really cool. So I would say definitely be intentional and be fully committed, because with some girls or guys, it takes a lot more conversation than just walking up with a KGP and sharing the gospel and they get it. A lot of times you'll have that hard outer shell where it does take just continuous conversations and them just knowing that you are there whenever they're ready, or whenever life just gets to be too much and they realize that they are missing something. And so that is kind of where we're at.
Good, thanks. So, like Bill said this morning, God has put you at your school, in your chapter, for a reason. It's not by